All right, let's go over it word for word. Wheels are chalked on the appropriate side of drive tire to prevent vehicle movement. Open the door. Gonna get in 3-point contact. 3 points of contact. So, sit down. Gonna check your seat belt. Gonna check the seat belt for damage such as fraying or rips, and that it is fastened properly. And then the windshield is clean and there is nothing obstructing driver's view. Check all mirrors for proper adjustment. Turn key to on position and check that ABS light comes on and goes off, indicating that the ABS is working properly. You check the city horn and the air horn for proper operation, but you'll do that after you get the air pressure to go up properly. Depress clutch pedal. Check that the gears lever is in neutral and start engine. Oil pressure gauge is in the normal operating range of 30 to 75 psi. Coolant temperature gauge is in the normal operating range of 160 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Voltage gauge is in the normal operating range of 12 to 14 volts. Both air pressure gauges are in the normal operating range of 100 and 140 psi. Dash lights and indicators. Turn on lights and check that the left and right turn signal, four-way emergency flashers, high beam, and DEF indicator lights are working properly. Check that the windshield wipers and washers are working properly. Show that the cab heater and windshield defroster are working properly. Fire extinguisher is securely mounted and properly rated and fully charged. And 3 reflective emergency triangles, spare bulbs and fuses are present in that box. And then parking brake checks. Tractor parking brake check. Push in red valve. Put truck in gear to pull away from wheel chock. Low gear. Slowly engage the clutch or press accelerator until resistance is felt against the brake. Pull out red valve. Trailer spring brake check. Push in yellow valve. Put truck in gear to pull away from wheel chock. Slowly engage the clutch or press accelerator until resistance is felt against the brake. Pull out yellow valve. Boom. Drive the truck ahead at about 5 miles per hour and apply the service brake pedal. The vehicle should stop and not pull to one side or another. That's the service brake check explanation. Then the air brake leak test. Check the air pressure reads at least 100 psi on both gauges. Turn engine off, then turn key to on position to supply power to gauges. Push in yellow and red valves and allow air pressure to stabilize. I'm going to apply the service brake and wait until the air pressure stabilizes. Push in service brake and make sure the air pressure stabilizes. Then I'll start timing for 1 minute and see if this combination vehicle loses more than 4 psi. Apply service brake firmly, allow air pressure to stabilize. Begin timing 1 minute. And then you give the result. This combination vehicle did not lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute. And then you do the low air pressure warning devices. Begin the fan brake repeatedly until it's about 60 psi. The low air pressure warning devices should activate. It'll be in the dash. The low air pressure warning light and buzzer are working properly. Tractor protection and dash valve operation. Continue the fan brake until about 30 psi and the yellow and red valve should pop out. Both valves popped out, indicating that the dash valve is working properly. That's what you say. And then the outside of tractor. Get out. And it would check under the vehicle to make sure the leaks are for leaks and puddles from the engine and transmission area. And then all lights are securely mounted. Right here, all lights are securely mounted, not cracked. They're clean and proper color. Amber for turn signals, clearance, and ID lights. Clear for headlights. Windshield is securely mounted, clean, not cracked, and with no outdate stickers. Wiper arms and blades securely mounted, not damaged, with proper tension against the windshield. Blades are not cracked or frayed. All mirrors and brackets are securely mounted, not damaged, and mirrors are clean. And then you check under hood passenger side. You would check the exhaust system. The exhaust system is right there, securely mounted. No leaks, holes, or excessive soot visible at the joints. The coolant reservoir is at the top. The coolant reservoir is securely mounted, not damaged or leaking. Check that fluid is at proper level. Never open the cap unless the engine is cool. And then the engine oil check explanation. Because it's not on this side, it's on the other side. The oil fill tube and dipstick tubes are securely mounted and not damaged or leaking. And they are right there. Pull dipstick out and wipe clean. Reinsert, pull out, and check oil level. If proper level, add. If below proper level, add oil through fill tube. And then the alternator is right there. The alternator is securely mounted, not damaged, and belt driven. All wires are connected and not damaged. Belts are securely mounted, not cracked or frayed. Proper tension is no more than 3/4 of play at center of belt. Water pump is securely mounted. It's in there, down in there, and not damaged, cracked, or leaking. It is gear driven. All hoses in the engine compartment are securely mounted, not cracked and frayed or leaking. Now we go to the driver's side under the hood. We're going to do the hose first. All hoses will be inspected like they were on the passenger side. Air compressor securely mounted, not damaged, cracked, or leaking. It is gear driven. Frame rail and cross members are securely mounted with no cracks and no illegal holes or welds. And then you would do the steering system. That's right here. Power steering pump is securely mounted, not damaged, cracked, or leaking. It is gear driven. Power steering fluid reservoir is securely mounted, not damaged or leaking. Fluid is at proper level. Steering gearbox is securely mounted, not damaged or leaking. Power steering hoses are all securely mounted and not cracked, frayed, or leaking. And then the steering linkage, the steering shaft, pitman arm, drag link, tie rod. All parts are securely mounted, not worn, cracked, or loose. They are not missing any nuts, bolts, or cotter keys. And the steering axle suspension. Front and rear spring mounts are securely mounted, not damaged or cracked. Spring leaves are securely mounted and not cracked, shifting, or missing. U-bolts are securely mounted to the axle and not damaged or cracked. And the shock absorbers are securely mounted and not damaged or cracked. Boom. And then the braking suspension, the braking system, the brake hoses, and everything is right there. Brake hoses securely mounted, not cracked, frayed, or leaking. The brake chamber is securely mounted and not damaged, cracked, or leaking. The push rod is securely mounted, not damaged. There should be no more than 1 inch of play when brakes are released. Slack adjuster is securely mounted, not damaged or worn. No loose or missing clevis pins or cotter keys. Push rod and slack adjuster should make a 90-degree angle when the brakes are applied. Brake lining is securely mounted and not cracked or worn dangerously thin. Brake drum is securely mounted, not cracked, and free of oil. And then the steering, tire, and wheel. The ICD inspection, inflation, condition depth. Inflation, check with pressure gauge for proper inflation of about 100 psi. Condition, inner and outer sidewalls have no cuts, bulges, or divots. Tread is worn evenly and cannot be recapped. The depth tread is at least 432 seconds. The valve system and cap securely mounted, not damaged or leaking. Rim is securely mounted, not damaged or cracked. There can be no weld repairs. Lug nuts are securely mounted, all present, and without rust trails that could indicate looseness. The hub oil seal is securely mounted, not damaged or leaking. Fluid is at proper level. And we're going to do the side of the tractor. From the door hinges are securely mounted, not damaged or loose. Door should open and close properly. Turn signal light is securely mounted right there. Securely mounted, not cracked, and it is clean and amber in color. Fuel tank and cap. The fuel tank and cap are securely mounted, not damaged, cracked, or leaking. DEF tank and cap, right there, are securely mounted and not damaged, cracked, or leaking. Steps and catwalk. Steps and catwalk are securely mounted, not damaged, and free of debris. Drive shaft and U-joints. Drive shaft and U-joints. It's the drive shaft right there. And the inside are securely mounted, not cracked or bent, and free of debris. The tractor frame. The tractor frame will be inspected like it was up front. Electrical line is properly inserted into the back of the cab and not cracked or frayed. The service and emergency airlines are securely mounted to the back of the cab and not cracked, frayed, or leaking. All air and electrical lines are not tangled, kinked, or dragging against the catwalk. Boom. And in the front of the trailer, the service and emergency airlines are properly coupled with the glad hands on the front of the trailer and are not leaking. Electrical line is properly inserted into the front of the trailer. Header board is securely mounted with no cracks, bulges, or holes, and it is able to hold the load. Clearance lights on top of the trailer are securely mounted, not cracked or missing. They are clean and amber in color. Fifth wheel mounting bolts are securely mounted and not missing. Platform is securely mounted to the tractor frame and not damaged or cracked. The skid plate is securely mounted to the platform and not damaged or cracked. It isn't missing any pins and is properly lubricated. There is no gap between the skid plate and apron. The apron is securely mounted to the bottom of the trailer and it is not damaged or cracked. The kingpin is securely mounted to the apron and it is not bent. The kingpin would be in there. The locking jaws are securely closed around the kingpin. The release arm would be on this side or the other side. It is on this side. It's securely mounted, not damaged, and in a fully engaged position. Fifth wheel is positioned properly so the back of the tractor will clear the landing gear during turns. And that's the landing gear. The suspension would be in here. The front and rear spring mounts, spring leaves, U-bolts, and shock absorbers will be inspected, the same as the steering axle. Airbag mount is securely mounted and not damaged or missing any bolts. Airbag is securely mounted and not cracked, frayed, or leaking. And then the brakes. The brake hoses, brake chamber, push rod, slack adjuster, brake lining, brake drum will all be inspected, the same as the steering axle. Brake hoses, brake chamber, brake pads, brake rotor will all be inspected the same as the steering axle. If they're disc brakes, tires and wheels, drive tires, these are the drive tires, will be inspected the same as the steering axle with these exceptions. Drive tires can be radial or bias ply, but never mismatched on the same axle. Drive tires can be recapped. Tread depth is at least 230 seconds. The tire spacing is free of debris. Boom. And they are not rubbing. Rims and lug nuts will be inspected the same as the steering axle. Hub axle seal is securely mounted and not damaged, cracked, or leaking. Splash guards are securely mounted and not damaged. Tail lights are securely mounted, not cracked. They are clean and red in color. Reverse light is clear. DOT reflectors are securely mounted, clean and proper color. Side and bottom of trailer. Boom. Landing gear is fully raised. Support frame and landing pads are securely mounted and not damaged or missing any parts. Crank handle is securely stowed. Side panels of trailer are securely mounted with no cracks, bulges, or holes and are able to hold the load. Long members Cross members and floorboards are securely mounted and not damaged or cracked and are able to support the load. All lights are securely mounted, not cracked, and clean and proper color. Amber on the side and red in the rear. DOT reflectors are securely mounted and clean and proper color. Tandem release arm and pins. Tandem release arm and pins are securely mounted, not damaged, and are in the fully engaged position. Door tie back. Door tie back is securely mounted and not damaged or missing. Then the trailer axle. The trailer axle. Boom. Trailer axle. Front and rear spring mounts, spring leaves, and U-bolts will be inspected the same as the drive axle. Airbag mounts, airbag and shock absorbers will be inspected the same as the drive axle. Torque rod is securely mounted and not damaged or cracked. Brake hoses, brake chamber, push rod, and slack adjuster, brake lining, brake drum will be inspected the same as on the drive axle. If the push rod and slack adjusters were not inspected on the tractor, they must be explained in detail. Tires and wheels. Tires, spacing, rims, lug nuts, and splash guard will be inspected the same as on the drive axle. Hub oil seal will be inspected the same as on the steering axle. Rear of the trailer. Rear of the trailer. Door panels, hinges, and latches are all securely mounted, not damaged, cracked, or missing any parts. The doors should open, close, and latch securely. Door tie backs are securely mounted and not damaged or missing. All lights, clearance, ID, brake, turning signal lights are securely mounted, not cracked, and clean and red in color. ABS light is amber. DOT reflectors are securely mounted and clean and proper color. That's it.